welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to, that's right, the most charismatic man, the Prince of Fresh Air. It's been a great week so far, but last week, after doing a live show with my next guest, things took a turn for the worse. And I got to give Canada a shout out, or I'm calling them out because they had a bunch of smoke blown into New York. I don't know if you got some. I'm going to bring him on. And we're going to talk about whether he was affected. But New York was affected. We thought it was the end of the world, the biblical, Last Supper type of thing where the skies are yellowish. It was like a Snapchat filter. And I got a bone to pick with Canada because I have asthma. So I couldn't leave my apartment. So, Canada, if you're listening, don't worry. You couldn't kill off the most charismatic man. I'm still here. And before I bring on Terric, I gotta call out Dwayne The Rock Johnson real quick, and I got a bone with him too because he's the most electrifying man, and I'm hearing whispers in Hollywood. He thinks I'm not on his level yet. Well, Dwayne, don't worry, the most charismatic man is coming for you. That's right. Out with the old and with the new, but let me stop. I want his security. I want his security.
Right, he didn't even replace. He's get up there in age, brother. He's get up there, man.
But let me stop. I don't want no goons or security coming to get me. I know the FBI be watching, so but you know what? It's great to have this next guest coming on. I did a live show with him, Kyle Yates, who was on the podcast before. Feeling the vibes, go check that out. This guy right here, I gotta say, has one of the most unmatched energies in podcasting I've met so far. Hilarious, funny, great man to talk to. Chris Tucker, I'm telling you, I'm sure people who are listening are thinking you are Chris Tucker. I'm telling you. Now
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. No. But ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm ex-military, and look, I had to pretend to be Eddie Murphy for a couple years overseas. So everybody thought it was Eddie Murphy instead of Chris Tucker.
I'm telling you, that's racist right there. I'm telling you. But no, seriously, if anybody has ever watched Chris Tucker or Rush Hour, because that's what most people know him, that's how I really know him. I'm telling you, like Chris Tucker. I don't know about Eddie Murphy.
I take that, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But you know what? Let me do a formal introduction. I don't want people. I want to give you a formal introduction, but like I said, you, Kyle Yates, longtime friends. I was blessed to be on your live show last Monday. Great conversation. We had to talk about a lot of things, entertainment.
Yes.
And I thought, you know what? For someone like you who extended the hand for me to come on yours, why not have you come on mine? And especially because you do something different as well. And I want to get into that because I never had a comedian on this podcast, and I'm at that point where I want to start.
Look, I feel honored now. I'm the very first. I feel honored.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You're breaking records here, Chris Tucker. Terric. My fault.
Hey, man, don't worry about it, man. I've been called worse.
I already know. But you know what? You're the host and creator of Eayer Entertainment on YouTube. That was my podcast on. And you have other episodes as well. You talk about politics, entertainment, everything, just like I do. And I think it's important to have people like you, especially as a comedian. I think it's important to have more people like you come on and talk about your journey and the things you've done. So without further ado, it's always fun. It's always a pleasure to welcome the Playboy himself, Terric Higgins. Welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it, man. Look, man, appreciate you having me on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, like we were saying, I got my own channel. It's called Eayer Entertainment on YouTube. And I talk about everything, any and everything. I do music, I do comedy, I do politics, I do interviews, I do characters, I do it all. I even do health. I talk about everything on this channel. So if you want to get some health, some health tips, you want to get some good music, you want to get some comedy, you want to get some politics, come to Eayer Entertainment. I'm going to give it to you. You might not like everything I say, but I'm going to give it to you because guess what? I speak up. I don't know if you can see the banner now. Let me see if you can see the banner. Speak up.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it.
So yeah, man, I speak up, man. I don't hold my tongue. I tell it how it is. Like I said, you might not like it, but guess what? There's a lot of things in the world that you don't fucking like. Exactly. But I'm gonna give it to you the best way I can, and I'm gonna give it to you 100%.
Oh yeah, that's how I like it. That's how we do it on this platform here
Yeah,
too.
man.
So.
I don't hold my tongue for nobody.
Well, besides the FBI when they come knocking on your door.
Hey, look. I had a couple episodes times in my life where they were knocking at my door.
Let's cut the
Luckily,
live
I was
stream.
black.
Let's cut it.
I was black, so I got off.
Yeah, see.
Now,
I'm
if
Eddie
I was
Murphy.
a white man, it might be a little different. If I was white, they might like, oh, come on, let's go. But
You say
no,
I'm
man.
Eddie
Look,
Murphy.
sometimes being black has its perks. It has its perks. I'm telling you, man.
It does. It does, especially in certain areas.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Like I told you on the show, man. I'm a black redneck. I live in West Virginia, so I got some redneck tendencies. Yes, very redneckish.
Yeah. Do you listen to Tim McGraw? I'm curious.
But yeah, I love country music, man. Country, rock, opera. I listen to everything, man. I love music altogether.
Man, I got into Tim McGraw in college. And Truck Yeah is actually one of my favorite songs. I'll throw that out there. But I'm more of a hip hop guy.
I grew up. Look, before I got into comedy, man, I used to sing. Well, I still sing now, but not as much.
Right.
But I was in the music industry when I first started entertainment. So when I got into it, man, I listened to everything: country, rock, jazz, classical music, opera. I listen to it all, man. I love it. Music has been my life for the last when I first grew up, when I was a child to probably I feel like 21, 22 is when I left the music industry altogether and got into comedy.
Really? You know what? That's a good way to start, because like I said, I never had a comedian, let alone I don't think well, besides maybe one guest, I haven't had a singer. So, like for you, how was your journey? Let's start from the beginning for you. I know you say you living in West Virginia now, but did you grow up there? How was your upbringing, and how did you get into entertainment? Because it's an interesting path.
Right, bro. Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'm retired military. I did 12 years in the Army, infantry. You name it, I did it, man. I was a cook. I was infantryman. I jumped out of airplanes. I was a medic. I was a medic. I played with chemicals. I put on outfits and played with chemicals and shit. I did all types of shit in the military, man. So I did it 12 years. I did a tour over in Iraq. Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. Let me tell you like this, man. There's no place like home. You do not want to go to Iraq. You don't want to visit it. There's nothing there but fucking desert. Nothing there. Now, mind you, they got good chicken though. They got some good chicken in Iraq.
I did hear. My cousin was just over there and he told me that. Yeah.
Yes, they got some bomb rotisserie chicken in Iraq. I was like, oh my God, can I take some of this home? But yes, man, they got some good chicken. I gotta admit, they got some good chicken. That's how it's about over there, man. With chicken, man. Chicken every day.
Wow. Hey, you gotta get that protein in, right?
Yes, man. Yeah. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So I was in the military, but before I joined the military, like I was saying, I was in the music industry. I was singing. I sing R&B music. I did a little bit of rapping. Not a lot, but a little bit in the group before I joined the military. But mostly my music was R&B music, and it got to the point where, like, man, I would do all these talent shows and do all these, all this stuff, man. It was like, dude, there's so much favoritism in these talent shows. Like, they don't know who the hell you are, but they got a favorite already lined up. So you go in there, you start doing your music, and you sounded good. You sound good because women are screaming. They're like, oh, take your clothes off. We will get into where the Playboy came from. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I did a talent show, okay? And like I said, I do my R&B music, and I was in better shape than I am now. So I ended up taking my clothes off on stage.
Uh-oh.
Now, mind it, that's the funny part. Now, mind it, I didn't know who was coming to the show. So after I got finished performing and picking my clothes back and put my clothes back on, my grandmother's in the audience watching. Ah!
Oh.
So my grandmom is in the audience watching me, sing and taking clothes off. And my grandmother's like, grandson, you have a nice body. And I was like, huh. No, I got a nice body, but you know my grandmother think I got a nice body too. So I said, okay, let me use my body another way other than just singing. So I started doing a little bit of dancing, a little bit of exotic parties, stuff like that. And eventually that got old. And let me just say this too. There was a couple houses I went to, and men would come to the house unannounced, and I would have to jump out a couple windows to escape.
Wow. Magic Playboy Mike.
Yeah, man. Look. I use my body all the way.
Let's clarify. What do you mean? Are we talking about dun 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 dun, dun that type of?
Well, to put it like this, I'm an exotic dancer, so sometimes you do a little things for some more change.
You gotta give the people what they want. I get it.
Yes, of course. I wasn't okay. Fine. I was sort of kind of like an escort. All right, fine. Sort of like an escort for a few years before I joined the military. I was escorting. Fine.
Hey, you served our country. I ain't judging.
Yeah, I was a singing escort before I joined the military. Now, mind it, everybody don't know this story. You getting the deep story, the TMZ shit.
The inside scoop, I love it.
You getting the TMZ shit. So yeah, man. So like I said, man, I got some trouble. You know what I'm saying? Got some trouble dancing and doing parties and stuff. I had to clean my act up, so I went to the military. Went to the military. I did 12 years in, and only reason I'm now doing comedy is because I was jumping out of airplanes. Okay, I jumped out of airplanes. Why did I do that for? I don't know. I'm dumb. I thought I was gonna be fucking G.I. Joe. Yes. I went gun ho. I said, fuck it. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna jump out of airplanes. I'm gonna shoot all kinds of guns. I'm gonna do all kinds of shit. I'm gonna be fucking black G.I. Joe. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I jumped out the plane one time, and guess what? My parachute did not open.
Ooh.
And now you see me here right now. I got a real fucking bad back. Yes. I'm not paralyzed. Thank God I was close to being paralyzed. This close. They wanted to say, hey, guess what? We can fix your back. Nope. I can still walk. Don't fucking touch my back. Nope.
Wow. You know what? When you said, I'm thinking Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, jumping off the top. Jesus.
Yes. I'm like that. I'm a floating black man in the sky.
Shoot him down.
Only difference is I can't fucking fly. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so I jumped out, my shit ain't open, and I hit the fucking ground hard.
Wow.
Yeah, hit the ground hard.
How were you? Like, were you at a typical airplane level, or how was that?
High enough.
Wow. And like, so I'm curious.
High enough you need a parachute. Oh. Yeah, just let y'all know, ladies and gentlemen, I would advise you all, if y'all go to the military, do not join the airborne division. Do not join them. They are I put it like this. They don't always do things safely. Put it like that. Like sometimes you get in an airplane, you get a parachute, and they won't even check the shit. They'll give you some old shit and tell you to jump with it. And like I said, my shit did not open. Mine didn't. And I got two. I got one on my back and one on my front, and neither one of the motherfuckers open.
I smell cover up. I smell setup.
Like I said, man, keep your feet on the ground. If you go to the service, make sure you keep your feet on the ground.
I 100% agree.
Yes, man. So of course, you know what I'm saying, I had to retire out, medically retire out the military after 12 years. And
thank you for your service, by the way.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And then I said, okay, what's next? What's next for me? So I didn't know nothing about comedy at all when I got into the comedy game. So a friend of mine was a comedian, and he lived out here in West Virginia. I moved out here to West Virginia from DC after I retired from the military. So had a friend in comedy. He said, hey man, I think you do stand-up. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, I don't know shit about telling jokes. Not a goddamn thing. I said I can sing my ass off, but telling jokes? He said, "Come on, man, just try it, man. Come up and do a quick set." Fucked around. I enjoyed it. I sucked, but I enjoyed it.
Hey, you never know till you try, right?
I stunk up the place. Man, it was so bad. I had to get myself off stage.
You booed yourself.
I said, "Take your ass off stage. Don't do this shit ever again." So mind it, somebody saw my raggedy show, showed my stand-up, and said, "Man, I thought you was funny." And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, man, I want you to start some comedy shows with me." And I said, "Huh?" You like, "What you mean start comedy shows? I want you to host some comedy shows with me in West Virginia." And I said, "All right, fine. As long as I ain't got to tell jokes, I'm just hosting. I can host, but I ain't going to do no fucking jokes. I ain't telling no more jokes." Fucked around, man. It went from hosting to finally getting my niche to how to do comedy. I found my niche. Now, mind it, my brother that's now on the show with us right now was my mentor. He mentored me in the game, showed me the ropes, how to put together jokes, punchlines, how to come in on the stage, and all that, man. So I've been in the game now, doing comedy for 12 years, man. I've been stand for 12 years now, man.
Wow.
12 years. 12 years.
You know, it's crazy because your brother was supposed to come on. We was gonna have a threesome. Oh wait, no. Wait, my fault.
No, we don't get down like that.
I was just trying to act like an idiot, but no. Your brother's supposed to come on, but you know what? I do wanna ask you one question because I have a lot of family in the military who's still serving, retired, and all that stuff. What was the hardest thing for you? Outside of jumping out of planes, but like, what was it? The constant being away from home? Was it waking up early or just not knowing what the future holds? Like, what was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part, transitioning from being a stripper to being a soldier. Man, look, man, I didn't know shit about getting dirty or climbing walls or jumping out airplanes and none of that. I said, this shit is crazy. Listen, before I joined the military, I didn't even like getting dirty. I ain't like playing in no dirt. I ain't like going through the mud. I ain't like none of that shit. But what happened, let me tell you a funny story. My friend had joined the service, was about to join the service, and it was like, "Hey man, why don't we go into services on a buddy team?" And I was like, "Huh? What the fuck is a buddy team? What is that?" It was like, "Yeah, man, you and I go in and we'll be stationed together and blah blah blah." I said, "Dude, I'm not even military material. I'm a pretty boy. I don't even like sweating. I don't like getting dirty. I don't like none of that shit. I don't like it." I was what you call a pretty boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like to get my hair done, my nails did, you know what I'm saying? Wear nice clothes all the fucking time. I dressed up all the time. Like, dude, I'm not that dude. I don't like that shit. I don't like getting sweaty. I don't like getting dirty. Fucked around. I lost my job. I said, "Okay, look, man, you still trying to go to the service?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to go in. Let's go with the service." I said, "All right, fuck it. Let's go in." I went in. Now, mind it, like I said, man, I ain't in all that dirty shit, that sweating shit. I ain't into none of that shit. It was the hardest transition of my life, from transitioning from being a damn stripper, pretty boy, to being a damn soldier, to getting sweaty and dirty. That was the hardest transition of my life. And then that motherfucker screaming in your face. I'm like, oh, hell no. So you want me to get dirty and sweaty and you want to spit and sweat in my face? Oh, yep. Hell no. That was the worst, man. The worst time of my military career, honestly, was boot camp.
Oh, yeah.
Boot camp. Coming in, having a motherfucker screaming in your face, telling you to get the fuck up and pick up your bags and don't start crying. You here now, you can't cry to mama. I was like, dude, you don't even know where the fuck I came from. I shouldn't even be here. You're lucky I lost my job and I had to find another way to provide for myself.
Wait, so you telling me Major Pain was not real?
No, Major Pain is real. Very real. very real. Now, let me tell you something about military, okay? Some of y'all think when we go in, me being a black man, you know what I'm saying? I went to Fort Knox. I started my military career in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And put it like this. All the sergeants and all that stuff, they're white men. Okay, they're white men. So I'm going there and I'm looking at all these white men screaming at me, telling me to get my ass up, stop being a bitch, and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm experiencing racism. No, mind it. I'm thinking that racist. I'm ready to quit. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm ready to come home. I'm in this place that's so racist. Mom and Dad, if you don't send me home, I'm gonna end up hanging from a tree.
Oh, Jesus,
man, it was so horrible, man. But after I finished all the training, all that, man, they explained to me like, dude, we had to do this to make you strong. So I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? So, they congratulated me to say you was one of the best soldiers I had here and all that. So understand when you get to boot camp, shit's gonna be real difficult. And you might feel like you are being, treated like trash, like like you ain't shit. But it's to make you better and stronger, man. It was the best thing that it got me through my military career, man. It was basic training, man.
Ooh, you know what? That's a common thing I hear too. Most of my family is in the military or have been or still is. And I know my my young brother's actually going to the Navy later this year.
Okay.
And boot camp is something that I've heard so much about. My aunt that I grew up with, she still has that military boot camp style. So what my cousin, what she used to do was when he got in trouble, whatever, she'd make him do all types of, I think she called it the burnout. So it's like all types of exercises you do it to failure. And then if you got too tired, you do push-ups now. Are you tired of that?
Right.
You do squats. And it's very interesting. But you know what? I think it, like you said, it does help you shape you as a soldier, because most people going into the military and all this stuff, it's a different transition. It's not just waking up like you normally do, scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, brushing your teeth and lollygagging until you go do it. No, I mean the chances of something dangerous happening can happen like that. So I think it is useful. And let me ask you too, now we live in a different time now where 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, the military had its certain rules and most people didn't know about it until they joined the service. Now, we're living in a very diverse, inclusive type of society now, and we're seeing like the military are lowering their entry exams and stuff like that. Do you think it's a good thing that the military is starting to keep up with the times, or do you prefer how it used to be?
Let me put it like this, man. The military, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna keep it 100. I told you I'm gonna keep 100. Ladies and gentlemen, the military has gotten real soft. Real soft. It's got real soft. When I went to the military, there was no such thing as a stress card. They have stress cards where you can be like, hey, I need a break. I wish I had a break. I wish I could say, get the hell out of my face, but I couldn't. They cannot curse at you. They cannot make you do nothing you don't want to do. It has gotten real soft.
Yeah.
When I was in, they were in your face. They would spit in your face. They could kick you. They could do it. They could even punch you in your chest when I went in. Now, they can't do none of that. Nothing. They couldn't make you get out of bed and brush your teeth. I'm serious. They cannot make you do nothing that you do not want to do now.
It's crazy. It's actually, like I always say this. I think as time goes on and as things change, there are some great things that's happened. Like there needs to be, back then it was it was. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Not everybody in the military is racist, but back then it was easier to treat a minority a certain way and get away with it. So certain aspects, I think they need to clean that up and stuff. But I do agree with you in the sense that I watched the YouTube video. This YouTuber did the military test. He went to a military base and did the test. And I saw what it used to be like before and what it is now. And yeah, they definitely have made the requirements much easier for a lot of people to get into. And I think in the name of inclusion, sometimes people forget that we're talking about people who it takes a certain skill, a certain type of training to get you prepared for that. And like you said, if people could just say, I want to train right now, I need a break. I think, when you're in the military, you got to be prepared for these high stressful situations that the average person isn't aware of. So yeah, I do agree with you. It did get a little soft in a sense. But
I mean, think about this. Try doing that overseas and fighting the war. Try pulling out a stress card. Like, no, don't shoot me. I need a timeout. Try doing that in Iraq when motherfuckers shooting at you from left and right. Try doing that. And see how your life ends up. You ain't gonna make it back home. You try to pull out the damn stress card overseas, fighting for your life.
Crazy. I didn't read. So that is an actual thing, the stress cards?
Yes, it's a stress card. They give it to you now. Now they give it to you. When I ain't have none of that. You have a stress card where you say if you get like too tired or worn out or need the mental breakdown, pull out your stress card.
Wow.
Yes.
But you know what? I do have something else I want to ask you regarding that, because some people might say, it's not that they're being sensitive, right? But for me, I look at it too. I used to work in a soup kitchen at my college, the Warmer House. I've spoken about it once or twice. But this place I used to work at, there was a lot of military veterans. One of the guys, Randy, I remember him like yesterday. He had schizophrenia, and there was a couple other ones that was there. And I think mental health is such a big thing that a lot of military people don't receive. At the soup kitchen, I remember hearing a story from one of the guys. He was in the Navy, and he was talking about PTSD, and like any loud noise, like I remember I banged one of the trays. I was bringing the food out against the wall, and he like jumped, like he thought a grenade was about to go off or something. And he was telling me like, getting help for him going to the VA and stuff like that. He hasn't been able to receive that type of treatment, and it's impacted his relationship. I think he ended up getting divorced, and him and his kids. Now everybody's different, in the military. But do you think there is something where, back then a lot of soldiers, no matter the branch, were not getting the actual therapy and stuff they needed, especially when he was leaving to cope with the new society they live in?
Right. Well, let me tell you something, man. When I got back from my deployment overseas, none of us went through nothing. Like, you got people coming off the damn airplane going straight to the house.
That's
like what? Like, you ain't gonna make sure this dude's still at war? Like, anybody still think people shoot at him? Like, dude, like nothing, man. We got nothing. Only time I got mental examination was when I was getting out the military.
Wow.
Right. Like, you didn't ask me, like, dude, did you what'd you see overseas? Was something traumatizing in your life that you saw over there that you keep having like nightmares about? Nothing. Like, you're fine. You're a soldier. You're gonna be all right. Just go out there, go back home, get some rest, and come back to work in a couple weeks. Nothing. Nothing.
Wow. And
Nothing.
and that's, I think, there's certain people, and this is the crazy thing about what's happening now. It's like the new generation, like my generation, younger, are starting to fight against the older generation, because we're at that line where, especially me, I'm at that line where I grew up traditional, but also grew up with the new wave happening right now. So I see both sides, and I think for so many, I hear horror stories of veterans, especially in LA. Where I live in LA, we have. I was talking about it. Skid Row. Skid Row is notorious for having a lot of military vets and stuff in the area. And during the pandemic, I got to meet some homeless people and talk to them that live near me, and a lot of them were military. And to see that, it's heartbreaking to see our veterans, people who put their lives and bodies on the line, sleeping on the corner, not having access to therapy or mental health or any type of aid. And when you look at the amount of money the military has, it's crazy. I mean, the military has that. I don't know exactly how much the number, but I know they just got approved for a couple $2 billion to do a new program or infrastructure, whatever. But the clearly money is there. Do you think it's just a lack of, mental health awareness wasn't really a big thing until now? Do you think that's what it was?
To be honest with you, brother, when I was in, you couldn't even talk about mental health. You couldn't talk about you going through, problems at home. You too stressed out. You're thinking about suicide. You couldn't mention none of that. That was like you say that, you're done. You were like kicked out the military. You're gone. Anytime you show any weakness, that was it. We were taught when I went in to be strong, not show no emotion, not show no pain. Other than that, any weakness, you got to go. So so a lot of these soldiers, man, that are on the street, that are homeless, and they were taught not to talk about what they went through or what they go through. They're still programmed to not show emotion.
But we're going to continue. I do want to get into comedy. I do want to ask you a couple more things, and then we'll skip on. But we're going to just take a short break. We'll be right back. And we're going to continue this amazing conversation.